will take a long while before Nigerians of all socio-cultural backgrounds, especially lovers of music, again witness the celebration of the life of any artist, or indeed any personality in this country, like the one that marked the 60th birthday celebrations of globally acclaimed Juju music legend, Chief Dr. Sunday Adeniyi Adegeye, known to the world as King Sunny Ade. The great outpouring of eulogies, gifts, presents and other tokens of appreciation, and the parade of notable and ordinary Nigerians alike who tripped out from the length and breadth of this country to identify with King Sunny Ade, testify to the fact that this great artist and cultural icon has not only left his footprints on the sands of time, but has transcended all sociocultural boundaries to lay claim not just to international stardom, but to immortality itself. Like the life journey of the celebrant himself, the week-long Diamond Jubilee celebrations began with a whimper and ended with a bang. The celebrations commenced like a small whirlwind, eventually gathered steam, and finally ended like a raging hurricane whose ripples will be felt in this country for a long time to come. It was a homecoming of sorts for the great musician as he, his band The African Beats, and the event planners of the Diamond Jubilee celebrations arrived at the Government House Akure in Ondo State on the 18th of October 2006, where they were hosted by the State Governor, His Excellency Dr. Olusegun Agagu and his wife. The evening's activities were kicked off with performances by the Cultural and Tourism Troupe. The governor and his wife, on behalf of the government and people of Ondo State, presented King Sunny Ade with birthday gifts and also prayed the Almighty God to reward him 100-fold with the joy he has given to so many people. The celebrant, in his response, expressed his gratitude in the one way he knows best, with a song.
Your Excellency.
In a rather thoughtful eulogy, Governor Olusegun Agagu expressed joy and satisfaction at being part of these celebrations, considering the fact that King Sunny Ade is the epitome of not just musical or artistic, but human greatness. He marveled at the celebrants' unusual humility for someone whose music and influence has become universal. He ended by saying that King Sunny Ade's remarkable life and career holds many lessons for all Nigerians, especially the youths, on the need to harness their talents and resources in order to attain success and even greatness.
If you play Sunny Ade, Yoruba man, he will jump. He will dance because he knows how to dance. If you play it to an Igbo man, he will shake because they shake. If you play it to an Hausa man, he will jump. And you play it to a German, they just keep tumbling and rolling and rolling. He has taken it beyond the confines of the Yoruba nation, Nigeria, and the world.
Governor and Mrs. Agagu and other members of the High Table joined the members of the Ondo State Cultural and Tourism Troupe in yet another performance, after which the crowd serenaded the celebrant with a birthday song and a toast. Locally based organizations such as the Ondo State chapter of P-Man and Mercury Club, which played an important role in putting the party together, used the opportunity to thank the governor, his wife and the State Executive Council, as well as the King of Music himself for this wonderful evening. The evening rounded off with more performances by the cultural troupe. On the 20th of October 2006, King Sunny Ade's Diamond Jubilee celebration train moved on to Osogbo, Osun State, where he was honored with the chieftaincy title of Are Agbeluga of Osogbo by the Ataoja of Osogbo, Oba Iyola Matomi III. The Oba in council did not fail to shower him with royal blessings. The occasion also saw the presentation of gifts to the musical legend by various individuals. Combining his characteristic love for children with his homecoming, King Sunny Ade later took time off to visit his alma mater, St. Charles Grammar School, Osogbo. He arrived to the rapturous cheers of the school children. In a welcome speech, the principal of the school paid tribute to the musical legend of our time, King Sunny Ade, for staying true to his awesome gifts and for his persistence and fortitude in forging a path to the top for himself and for others. He ended by enjoining his students to emulate these qualities in order to live lives as distinguished and joyful as that of their august visitor. King Sunny Ade, in his response, noted that the school was now a shadow of its former self, but promised to give back a little in gratitude to the place which gave him a pedestal to climb on. The starry-eyed students, obviously overawed by the presence of the famous musician in their midst, cheered his every word or gesture. Needless to say that this day, 20th October 2006, was a day they would never forget. The King of Music later joined members of staff and students in cutting a birthday cake, as well as a photo session. If King Sunny Ade's encounter with the students of his old school, St. Charles Grammar School, Osogbo, was the appetizer, his autograph session with pupils of various nursery and primary schools in Lagos at the spacious grounds of the Lagos television station the next day, 21st of October 2006, could be said to be the main course, as he continues to show that even at 60, he has not lost his love for children and his pleasure in their company. Some of the schools represented at the occasion were Hallmark International, Heritage House, and Avicenna Nursery and Primary Schools. And what a lively encounter it was. The children began by performing for the great performer himself, and in some of them, King Sunny Ade could actually see a mirror image of himself as he was during his own childhood. Artist and comedian Princess, in her presentation, gave the kids a foretaste of what the king will be telling them when she told a humorous story of how King Sunny Ade craftily made her take her studies seriously at school. In his motivational talk, King Sunny Ade spoke in the same vein, revealing that one of his regrets in life is his lack of formal education. He therefore enjoined the children to acquire an education first before embarking on whatever career they wished to pursue in life. In the question and answer session, the children displayed their curiosity about the enigma called King Sunny Ade as they threw all manner of questions at him. His responses, which endeared him to adults and children alike, were patient, simple, and well thought out. Somebody once said that we are mere receptacles through which a higher power transmits his thoughts to the world around us. This perhaps explains the unusual humility of geniuses and highly creative people who know that their great gift is not one of their own making, but bestowed on them by God. King Sunny Ade is one of such examples. A special Thanksgiving service, which was held at the Archbishop Viney Memorial Church Cathedral, Ikeja, as part of his 60th birthday celebrations, afforded him, his family, friends, and teeming admirers the opportunity to return thanks to God for his abundant mercy and favor upon the life of this unique man called KSA. Against the background of solemn music, the procession of clergy was followed by the much anticipated arrival of President Olusegun Obasanjo, who flew in straight from his official visit to Bayelsa State just to be present at this occasion. The import of this gesture, which has very few parallels in the history of our nation, was not lost on members of the congregation, and it was a subject the Right Reverend P.A. Adebiyi, who delivered the sermon, would emphasize at various points in his homily. A self-confessed follower of King Sunny Ade's music and career over the years, Reverend Adebiyi declared that there were many key reasons why King Sunny Ade has lasted so long after many similarly endowed musicians have fallen by the wayside, and why he has reached such Olympian heights of success and fame where so many have failed and faded into oblivion. Reverend Adebiyi's moving sermon was followed by a session of prayer and praise worship. President Obasanjo, who spoke in a mixture of English and Yoruba, echoed Reverend Adebiyi's remarks.
One of the reasons for which I came to honor Sunny Ade is to show that no occupation, no profession is unimportant. Nothing will make you succeed unless God becomes a factor in your life. Some people plan and they plan hard. They prepare and they prepare hard. But they leave out one thing. What a friend of mine called G-Fact. That is the God factor. God has blessed you. May God continue to bless you. You are not through vicissitudes of life, high and low. But God has seen you. What shall we say?
The spacious exhibition hall of the Eco Hotel and Suites, Victoria Island, Lagos, was the venue of the special multimedia exhibition of King Sunny Ade's memorabilia, which he has collected over the course of a 45-year career marked by many high points. This includes awards, plaques, certificates of recognition, personal keepsakes, photographs, trophies, portraits by many artists using a variety of materials and methods, as well as video clips of some of his performances over the years. The show was preceded by an opening ceremony in the hotel's banquet hall, which had in attendance the former governor of Ogun State, Aremo Olusegun Oshoba, and his wife. After the welcome address by the MD of Special Events, Mr. Kayode Afolabi, the curator of the exhibition, Dr. Tunde Odunlade, gave the audience a rundown of what to expect at the exhibition and the philosophy behind it. The exhibition was declared open by Aremo Oshoba. Guests were treated to a visual feast that chronicled in living colors the glorious journey of a great artist, a cultural icon, ambassador of his cultural heritage, an ardent patriot, a friend of the great and small, and a man of the people. The guests later settled down to watch a couple of cultural performances by two groups, the first of which performed to one of KSA's popular songs. The vote of thanks was delivered by one of the event organizers, Mr. Babafemi Ojudu of the News. Aremo Segun Oshoba had words of advice for the celebrant as he faces life at 60.
To remain himself, to remain humble as he has always been, and I'm confident that he will attain greater heights in the future.
As anybody who has followed the illustrious life and career of King Sunny Ade will testify, this is one man that would not be counted among those timid souls who have known neither victory nor defeat in life. A life such as his is truly the stuff of great stories and anecdotes, some of which are chronicled in his autobiography, My Life, My Music, which was launched on Tuesday, October 24, 2006, at the Ajib Hall of Muson Center, Lagos. The book launch, which was compared by the ace broadcaster and showbiz impresario Mr. B.C. Olatilo, had a number of society bigwigs in attendance, such as Erelu Abiola Dosunmu and the Ajalaran of Ijebu-Ife, Oba Oguntayo, who served as the royal father of the day and the chairman of the occasion. The high table also included Deacon Philip Akinola, who represented the chief launcher, Mr. Femi Otedola, chairman of Zenon Oil, as well as Mr. Akin Adeshokon, who represented the co-launcher Alhaji Dangote, chairman of Dangote Group. After a brief opening prayer, the royal father Oba Oguntayo showered blessings and praises on the celebrants, declaring that like President Obasanjo did at the Thanksgiving service 2 days before, he too just had to be at this occasion in spite of other pressing engagements due to the caliber of the celebrants. Erelu Abiola Dosunmu also paid glowing tributes to the living legend and thanked him for a record he did about her many years ago. Personal reminiscences about King Sunny Ade also came from the MC, Mr. B.C. Olatilo, and fellow broadcaster, Sonny Rabo. The mood of the occasion was lighted up with the comedy of humor merchant, Teji Babyface. The book review was done by the managing editor of the news, Mr. Babafemi Ojodu, who described the book as an engaging read due to the simplicity of its style and language. Mr. Ojodu's presentation was followed by the formal launch and presentation of the book, My Life, My Music. The representative of the chief launcher, Mr. Femi Otedola, after a short and inspired exhortation full of biblical quotes, launched the book for the sum of 2.5 million naira. The representative of the co-launcher, Mr. Akin Adeshokon, also launched the book for the same sum, after which other donations poured in from various quarters. In a rather humorous contribution, Prince Adeyemo Adeyera spoke on the addictive nature of King Sunny Ade's music and stagecraft, and ended by asking the celebrant to do more to enhance and publicize the work of the King Sunny Ade Foundation. A cultural performance added color and glitter to the occasion. Thereafter, the celebrants socialized with guests, receiving gifts, signing autographs, and dancing. The birthday song to the celebrants and the royal prayers by Oba Oguntayo for the celebrants and for all the guests brought the event to a close.
Hip, 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 hooray! Hip, 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 hooray!
The interior of the Events Hall of Planet One Events and Entertainment Center, Lagos, which hosted a grand dinner to round off the activities marking King Sunny Ade's 60th birthday celebrations, was done up in a cream color scheme for the occasion. For many of the guests who graced the occasion, no color scheme could have been more appropriate, considering the caliber of personalities that came to identify with the king of Juju music on his attainment of the 6-decade milestone. They were indeed the cream of Lagos society. The party, which was jointly anchored by broadcaster Sonny Rabo and actor Yemi Shodimu, got off to a flying start with special performances by various traditional and contemporary groups. Each group in its individual way paid glowing tribute to a musical icon as he approaches the winter of a much chronicled life and career. As the assembled guests sampled the delicacies and drinks on offer, they listened with a mixture of awe, fascination and amusement to a series of personal glimpses into King Sunny Ade's multifaceted life offered by those who have been fortunate enough to know him intimately. It was no surprise then that somebody suggested that the theme of this Diamond Jubilee celebrations should be The Many Lives of King Sunny Ade, and that the title of his biography should have been My Lives, My Music. These personal glimpses were punctuated at random intervals with a rendition of the traditional birthday song and other songs in honor of the celebrants. Through all the proceedings, the guests were barely able to restrain their impatience to see the maestro himself perform on stage. But the two anchors masterfully kept that much anticipated moment at bay for as long as they could. Votes of thanks were given on behalf of the celebrant by his daughter and the organizers of the Diamond Jubilee celebrations by one of its officials. When the much awaited moment finally arrived, the entire hall was charged with excitement which did not let up for the rest of the night. After a brief speech of appreciation for the love and adulation he has received over the years, the king finally launched into an explosive rendition of one favorite classic after the other, to the delight of VIPs and ordinary folks alike. The audience simply could not contain themselves. King Sunny Ade is indeed a living paradox, and has dazzled the audience with the legendary dance steps and dexterity on the guitar that have kept an entire generation of audiences across the globe spellbound for over 40 years. That paradox was once more in evidence. On one hand, his looks, tireless energy and perpetually upbeat outlook on life belie his 60 years. Yet on the other hand, his music has been around for so long that it is almost impossible to imagine a time when there was no King Sunny Ade. Perhaps the one quality that has marked and will continue to mark the music of King Sunny Ade is its timelessness. The king of Juju music has been around forever, and if the prayers of all Nigerians and music lovers the world over are anything to go by, he will continue to be around forever. As the celebrant faces life at 60, the Bisi Olatilo show sought the views of some of the guests on the life and music of the great man.
Sunny Ade is a phenomenal musician. He's been able to captivate an audience since I can remember. I think he should just go on and on and on and on.
A genius of music. Music has been with us forever. Want to still hear very good music, and I think he still has so much inside of him to offer.
We'll leave the last word to the living legend himself.
It's not easy to be 60 like that. You know, so many things, rough on the rough road, ups and downs, and I will thank God for everything.
The Bisi Olatilo show joins millions of Nigerians and music lovers all over the world in paying tribute to this musical icon, cultural ambassador, and Nigeria's gift to the world as he enters the golden years of his life. We are confident that his best years and his best performances are still ahead. We thank him for making us proud as a people and pray that God will bless him and his family with the joy he has brought to so many people for so many years.